Part 36. Peach Youth. Author, Su Kifeng. Chapter 352. Dinan looked at Linfeng and Tian Qingzu with ambiguous eyes. In her opinion, Linfeng and Tian Qingzu did everything they should have done last night. She was very curious, and even wanted to know the whole process of Linfeng and Tian Qingzu's enthusiasm. Unfortunately, Linfeng's there is no camera in the room, otherwise she would be able to feast her eyes. Dinan found that his thoughts were a little evil, and smiled. "You two are up. Oh, I'm going out to the store, so come and see you, Qingzu. Why don't you stay with Linfeng? I go alone first." "Sister Nan, I'll go with you." Tian Qingzu and Dinan went out together. Linfeng originally wanted to go out together, but at this moment he felt an inexplicable embarrassment. His footsteps froze, and he sat on the sofa in the master bedroom and smoked a cigarette. The cloudy day, coupled with the morning, not so hot, walking on the familiar street, both Dinan and Tian Qingzu felt a sense of refreshment. Dinan wanted to ask Tian Qingzu what happened last night, but there were always people passing by. Whenever she wanted to ask, there would be a few people passing by, all in a hurry, some to catch a car, some to walk. Walking on the overpass, Dinan leaned on the railing of the overpass, Tian Qingzu leaned on Dinan's side. If you talk about something on the overpass, it is quite romantic and free and easy. Generally only big cities have overpasses, generally only in big cities. There will be complex and bizarre stories, and the more people around you, the more complex life will become. But at this point in time, the bridge didn't stop. It was a very private issue to talk about. Dinan wanted to speak 3 times, all because someone passed by and shut up. Dinan and Tian Qingzu are both very beautiful beauties. Men who pass by, no matter if there are women around, they will look at them both. A man without a woman is more greedy, and a man with a woman is more greedy. The eyes are more convergent, but the essence of greed and convergence is the same, that is, hunting. "Sister Nan. If you want to ask me something, just go to the store." "That's right, when you get to the store, pull down the roller shutter and you won't be disturbed by others." Dinan quickened his pace, Tian Qingzu's pace also quickened, and the two beauties soon arrived at Fengnan Fashion Store. Dinan pulled down the roller shutter, and the store was very quiet. Sitting on the edge of the cashier, they could feel each other's breath. Dinan smiled and said, "Qingzu, you and Linfeng slept all night last night. Have you done everything you need to do?" "Did not do." "What did you say?" "Didn't do it." "Did you not let it, or Linfeng didn't want it?" Dinan said depressedly. "I let it." "He wanted to, but he didn't do it." Tian Qingzu was a little shy, but Dinan was the only one facing her. She was not so embarrassed that her face was red, and she even told the general situation of last night. Dinan grabbed Tian Qingzu's hand tightly, obviously with a little force. Tian Qingzu's hand was pinched and hurt. But she didn't try to pull out her hand and just endured the pain. After a few minutes, Huainan's hand loosened a little, and sighed softly. "Qingzu, you should have felt it, Linfeng, he really loves you." "Yeah, I feel it, brother Feng really loves me, in this world. Apart from my parents, brother Feng is the one who loves me the most, of course, and you, sister Nan, you also love me very much." "We are good friends, of course I love you. But my pain for you is different from that of Linfeng for you. My pain for you is friendship, Linfeng's pain for you is love, and Linfeng is a person worthy of your life." People. Men's romance has never been such a terrible thing, because basically every man in this world is romantic, but some men are not allowed by various conditions, so they do not show their romance, and men have no sense of responsibility. The most terrifying thing is that if a woman finds a responsible man, no matter how romantic the man is, this woman can be regarded as finding support. "Sister Nan, you are right, I have already decided that Brother Feng is a person who can be entrusted to me for life, but I am afraid that I cannot accompany him for the rest of my life. Maybe his future is in Beijing, but my future not necessarily in Beijing. King Zhu, you are stupid. Have you made up your mind to go back to teach in Qiushan Town, Shu Province? If you do this, not only Lin Feng and I will be disappointed, but even the leaders and teachers of Beijing Normal University who value you will be disappointed. Do you think you will be disappointed? It's a kind of nobility, but you're actually being selfish. When I go back, some people will be disappointed. If I stay, some people will be disappointed. I don't know how to do avatars. What do you want me to do? I can only go wherever I need more. I went back to teach in Qiushan Town, Shu Province, and I went back during the summer vacation to check on the situation there. I know I can't persuade you. If I let you not go back for the summer vacation, it is impossible to take care of the business of this small shop with me, but you must remember that Lin Feng is a good man who is worthy of your life. Dainan said. Tian Qingzu nodded. Dainan pulled up the roller shutter, and the shop instantly became brighter, making people feel less depressed. Lin Feng was lying in bed smoking a cigarette. He could basically think of what Dainan and Tian Qingzu would talk about, but he didn't know what kind of decision Tian Qingzu would make in the end. He could only wait. Waiting will waste time, waiting will be painful, but people spend most of their time waiting. Some people are waiting for get out of class, some people are waiting for get off work, some people are waiting for a good meal, some people are waiting while waiting enthusiastically, some people are waiting for excretion, enjoying happiness and pain while waiting, and waiting in happiness and pain. Yesterday, 36,000 words broke out like a madman. In addition, Lin Feng usually does not have the habit of coding in the morning, so he has no motivation to code this morning. It may be that he paid too much attention to his own pages yesterday. This morning, he did not even have the energy to open the computer to read the pages. He just lay lazily on the bed. He felt tired, not physically, but mentally. He even began to wonder why his heart was tired. He was still very young, on the way to struggle. There was still a road ahead, it's very long. Why does my heart get tired? Fortunately, he knew that his tiredness was only temporary. Maybe 2 hours later, his heart would not be tired anymore. He wanted to write again, and he wanted to sleep with a beautiful woman again. He was not afraid of anyone anymore. Lin Feng didn't fall asleep, but he was half asleep and half awake 3 times. Whenever this moment came, what floated in his mind were the people and things of the past, and the people and things that he might encounter in the future. The past is in him, in his heart, but he knew that his consideration of the future was incomplete, or that anyone's consideration of the future was incomplete, because the future had not really come yet. He glanced at the time and it was already lunchtime. He could skip lunch, but Dainan and Tian Qingzu were going to have lunch. If nothing else, the two beauties were still together at this time. Lin Feng called Dainan, and when she saw that it was Lin Feng, Dainan was a little depressed. She felt that Lin Feng should call Tian Qingzu's cell phone. Dainan smiled at Tian Qingzu next to him, and then picked up, "Are you awake?" "I didn't sleep." "I thought you were sleeping soundly." "Qingzu is still in the store." "You kid, go to dinner, and bring the fried vegetables, rice, and juice to me and Qingzu." "No problem." Lin Feng ate at a nearby restaurant, and then brought rice, stir-fried vegetables, and juice to the store. He saw Dainan, who always made him very impulsive and warm, and Tian Qingzu, who made him want to take care of him for a lifetime. Before Lin Feng arrived, Tian Qingzu began to think about it. When she saw Lin Feng, she would talk about something. The scene last night was very embarrassing. She didn't want to let this embarrassment continue. Decided to take Lin Feng's old line to speak. "Brother Feng, I typed so much yesterday, and there are 36,000 words. I really admire you, but are you out of code words today?" The spirit of coding is often there. After more than 2 hours, I started typing on the keyboard again. Although I typed 36,000 words yesterday, I plan to write 18,000 words today. Brother Feng, you are crazy. Dinan said casually, the reason why Lin Feng is crazy is to make the two of you richer in the future. Sister Nan, you are talking nonsense. I didn't talk nonsense at all, did I, Lin Feng? You said a lot, Lin Feng said. Tian Qingzu's face was shy, but his red lips moved, but he didn't know what to say for a while, and his expression was extremely provocative. Lin Feng's cell phone rang. It was Wen Qing, the editor-in-chief, who was not sick. Lin Feng smiled and answered, Wen Qing, are you looking for me? I want to see you this afternoon. Is it you who came to me or I came to you? Don't find any reason to refuse. Wen's words with a smile were a bit domineering. Then come here, okay, I just want to visit your nest. Oh, I also really want to meet your girlfriend, but don't let her misunderstand us. Relationship, you have to make it clear to her that we have a working relationship first, then a friendship relationship, and nothing else, Yvonne said. Don't worry, my girlfriend will not misunderstand. Lin Feng smiled and said, she is a very smart and kind girl, not an unreasonable jealous jar. That's good, wait for me, Yvonne said. Dinan and Tian Qingzu both laughed. Dinan said coquettishly, your beauty editor, the woman whose online name is Wen Qing, is not sick, is coming over soon. She must have shocked you by yesterday's outbreak. Come and see, let's see if your monster is okay after last night's outbreak. Actually, many of the company's contracted authors are updated faster than me, and the explosive situation happened more often than I did yesterday. There was even a situation where the author broke 80,000 words a day, and it was on the premise of not saving the manuscript. Lin Feng said. To be continued. If you like this work, you are welcome to come to the starting point, to vote for recommendation and monthly tickets. Your support is my biggest motivation. Mobile users, please go to to read. Peach Youth. Author, Su Kifeng. Chapter 353. Dinan and Tian Qingzu were both stunned. 80,000 words broke out in one day? On the premise that there is no manuscript, if it is counted according to 4,000 words in 1,000 words, it takes 20 hours to code without a break. Even if it is counted according to 5,000 words of 1,000 words, it takes 16 hours without a break, which is almost continuous. There is no time to eat or sleep. Dinan said, you are crazy. Tian Qingzu said, yes, it's crazy. Lin Feng said, so, doing what we do, under the premise of ensuring quality, stable updates are the kingly way. Every day there is a strong outbreak, the body will be very tired, and the quality of the book will be difficult to maintain. Although Dinan and Tian Qingzu didn't do this, they both listened very seriously, because Lin Feng was their good friend and they were very concerned about Lin Feng's career. Lin Feng said, Qingzu, although you are not my girlfriend yet, my editor-in-chief has already regarded you as my girlfriend, so I can only apologize to you. When she comes, you will pretend to be me first. Girlfriend. Okay, Tian Qingzu said. Dinan couldn't listen anymore, smiled and said, what are you pretending to be? Why don't you do this, Qingzu, before Lin Feng's beauty editor arrives, you should be his girlfriend. Well, I'll talk about it after I come back from Qiaoshan town, Shu province. Today, I'll pretend to be Brother Feng's girlfriend. Tian Qingzu's attitude was very firm, and Dinan did not continue to persuade her, otherwise it would make Tian Qingzu very embarrassed. She also knew that even if she continued to persuade her, Tian Qingzu would not agree to be Lin Feng's girlfriend today. Evan has arrived. Charming, graceful, and charming, she exudes a literati atmosphere and a mature and intellectual beauty. A woman like Iwen can easily make men intoxicated. Whether it is a young boy with no life experience or a middle-aged man with considerable life experience, it is easy to be attracted to this kind of woman. Mature woman, Yuja, these two words seemed to be insufficient to describe Aiwen's charm. Aiwen was even more surprised. When he came to this inconspicuous shop, he suddenly saw two superb beauties. One is hot and unrestrained, the other is pure and reserved. Lin Feng, let me introduce you, who is your girlfriend? This, her name is Tian Qingzhu. She is the school flower of Beijing Normal University. She is called Beauty Bamboo. Oh, this is my good friend and business partner, her name is Dainan, Lin Feng said. Lin Feng's girlfriend is actually the school flower of Beijing Normal University, which is so embarrassing to writer friends that Aiwen almost exclaimed on the spot. But in front of Tian Qingzhu and Dainan, she was very proud of her performance. That kind of feminine cultivation has been cultivated for many years, and she is very good at it. Tian Qingzhu, you are very beautiful, oh Dainan. You are also very beautiful. Both of you are superb beauties. I feel a little embarrassed in front of the two of you. Aiwen smiled. Lin Feng calls you Wenqing. Why don't I and Qingzhu also call you Wenqing? Wenqing, you are also very beautiful. The smell on your body is very special. Very charming. Dainan was afraid that Tian Qingzhu would be embarrassed to talk too much with Aiwen, so she brought Tian Qingzhu along with her while chatting with Aiwen. Tian Qingzhu also said, I heard from Brother Feng before that his editor-in-chief is a super beauty. I saw it today, and it really is. Wenqing, you are really beautiful. I'm honored to be praised by the school flower of Beijing Normal University. Oh, I'll take a look at what this small shop has. Aiwen started shopping. Lin Feng and Tian Qingzhu walked beside her, and Aiwen said sweetly, there are so many things, they are very complete. Oh, there are also many bags, they are very beautiful, I will choose one. Which one will take your fancy? Lin Feng said. Listen to what you mean, do you want to give it away for nothing? Wenqing, you have helped me a lot in the past, especially when I first entered the industry, you have given me a lot of encouragement, it is nothing to send you a bag. Lin Feng said. Aiwen was wearing tight trousers, and the brown trousers shaped her slender and graceful legs very well. Her steps were very elegant, and she smiled and said, I'm here to take care of the business, not to robbery. If I buy it, I will choose one, and if it is not allowed to buy it, then forget it. Okay, come and buy it. Lin Fengzin said, if I have the opportunity in the future, I will send you a more high-end bag, and the beauty editor-in-chief must at least be an entry-level bag from Louis Vuitton, but it is too expensive to buy. Lin Feng really wanted to give the beauty editor-in-chief a Louis Vuitton. He didn't want to bribe her. He just felt that he had received a lot of help from her before. From the perspective of a friend, he should express his gratitude. Aiwen chose a bag that looked a bit wide but very atmospheric, bought it at a 20% discount, and paid more than 160 yuan. When collecting the money, Dainan looked a little embarrassed. Lin Feng, why don't you talk to Wenqing first, just have me and Qingzhu in the store. All right. Before Lin Feng went out, he kissed Tian Qingzhu's face. Tian Qingzhu smiled slightly, her beautiful face a little red. Lin Feng and Aiwen stepped onto the overpass. The overpass was familiar to him, but unfamiliar to Aiwen. It was the first time that Aiwen had boarded this overpass. Your girlfriend, classmate Tian Qingzhu, made you blush even after kissing, very reserved and superb. She's like this. Everyone at Beijing Normal University knows that Beauty Bamboo is easy to be shy. Your boy is very lucky, you have found such a good girlfriend, but she hasn't graduated yet, and she will only be a senior after the summer vacation. You and her rhythm are a little out of tune, Aiwen said. At present, it seems a little out of sync, but my pace is a little slower, and her pace is a little faster, so we can come together, Lin Feng said. I wish you a good harvest in love and career. You are a very capable person, and you can burst out with unbelievable potential at critical moments. I admire you very much. Yvonne paused for a moment and said, seriously, you burst out yesterday. So many, in your continuous outbreak, I was really worried that the quality of the book would go wrong, but later I found that my worry was unnecessary. Of the thousands of signed authors across the company, you are the only one who can do this. Wen Qing, your evaluation of me seems to be a little too high. Although I have obtained 1,000 words and 100, but I am only a middle-level god. Oh, saying that I am a middle level is a little flattering, even if I don't. To count the top gods in the company, there are not a few others who are more qualified than me. If you are more humble, I will kick you. Anyway, your girlfriend doesn't look at it, and my foot may fall on your lap or your butt. Ai Wen's smile was very bright, and Lin Feng heard the taste of teasing from it. He quickly felt that something was wrong. Ai Wen was not teasing him, but just said what he just said casually. After walking off the overpass, Ai Wen said, the company has a lot of things these days. I have to work overtime for more than 2 hours every day after get off work, so I am very tired. I accidentally twisted my right foot after get off work yesterday, and I can hardly walk now. How far is your home? Lin Feng said, that's the community in front. Ai Wen said, that's coming soon. Arriving at Lin Feng's master bedroom together, Ai Wen smelled the light smell of smoke, and at the same time smelled a very special aroma, which only a woman's body can emit. Perhaps just last night, Lin Feng and his girlfriend Tian Qingzi did something very enthusiastic. Ai Wen quickly put away his wet thinking, sat on the sofa, threw the satchel aside, and said leisurely, I can finally sit down and rest. Lin Feng said, you are usually very tired. In my impression, you rarely ask for leave, and you are often online even on weekends. If this goes on for a long time, your body will collapse. You might as well consider taking a leave and going on a trip. Ai Wendeo, my body is very good, although not as high as your kung fu, but I have practiced before. Even now, I spend 2 hours every weekend to exercise. When it comes to travel, I'm really excited. It seems that I haven't gone out for 2 years. Last year, the company organized a trip to Zinmatai, but I didn't go. I really want to go out for a walk, but traveling alone is lonely. Lying down in the room will be so painful that I want to cry, so I have been afraid to face a person's travel. Lin Feng lit a cigarette and said with a smile, if you feel that traveling alone is too lonely, then find someone to go with you. Your popularity is good, there are many friends you can talk to, or you can find your next goal for yourself. Now, your former one has failed you and got married in the United States, and you should also break free from your past emotions. I have broken free, don't you realize that I have put him down? Yvonne said. I hope Lin Fengzin said, in fact, you didn't let him go, because I can feel the heaviness in your heart. Sometimes a man's feeling towards a woman is very accurate, such as my feeling towards you. Wow! Aren't you a little too lavish? Lin Feng, you scared me. Is the one you are wearing on your wrist really Patek Philippe? More than 1.8 million. Lin Feng became depressed. In fact, when he first saw Ai Wen, he was afraid that Ai Wen would notice the expensive Swiss watch on his wrist, but Ai Wen still noticed it, and she was very fond of this watch. Learn. Lin Feng said, I got it in exchange for this fist. Yes, and my legs. A Muay Thai master fights against me, he lost, and I won the watch. Lin Feng showed a very proud look, and I hope that his wonderful performance did not wear out in front of Ai Wen. Ai Wen didn't know Miss Ye of Hungtu Company, and he had never seen the red shadow beside Ye, so naturally he wouldn't suspect anything. Let me say something? You are too complicated, you are both civil and military, you are the one who is talking about you. There are very few people like you in real life. Although you are still struggling now, you will definitely be very powerful in the future. However, your kid is a bit too wild, you are also punching with Muay Thai masters while typing, What if you are injured? What if you are seriously injured? You think you are invincible, AI Wen complained Road. To be continued. If you like this work, you are welcome to come to the starting point, to vote for recommendation and monthly tickets. Your support is my biggest motivation. Mobile users, please go to to read. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Peach Youth. Author, Su Kifeng. Chapter 354. Lin Feng almost went to say that the reason why he was fighting with the Muay Thai master was for his girlfriend Tian Qingzhu, but the more hype, the easier it was to get through. It must be doubted, although feeling frustrated, but AI Wen is a person who understands life very well. Such a woman is not easy to deceive. Actually, I have always been interested in high-end mechanical watches, but the conditions are limited. The best watch in my hand is the Omega Deville series, and the case is not rose gold or platinum, but ordinary stainless steel. Yes, can you take off your Patek Philippe of more than 1.8 million and let me appreciate it? Casual look. Lin Feng took off the sky-high price watch given by his lover, Hong Ying, and put it in AI Wen's soft hands. AI Wen admired it very seriously, and the red lips occasionally let out a tisk-tisk admiration. Only people who really love watches can do it. Such a love for high-end watches, if the pursuit is only material, there will be no such truth. 20 minutes passed before I knew it. AI Wen had been admiring Lin Feng's Patek Philippe, and suddenly realized that a long time had passed. He quickly shoved the watch into Lin Feng's hand, and said embarrassedly, "It's really depressing, it's embarrassing in front of you. You must have laughed at me in your heart just now." "Yes, I just haven't seen any good watches." "You can laugh as much as you want. You're so cute." "You kid mocking me," AI Wen said angrily. "How dare you? If I satirize you, what if you deduct my recommendation?" Lin Feng winked at AI Wen playfully. AI Wen knew that what Lin Feng said just now was a joke, but in order to liven up the atmosphere, she still pretended to be angry. "Do you think I am a person who likes to wear small shoes for the author? Of course you are not. In my eyes, Wen Qing, the beauty editor-in-chief, is not very ill, charming, and fair. I admire you very much. There are many good editors in our company, and you are the best among them," Lin Feng said to AI Wen. "Look at the legs." He smiled and said, "Which foot did you twist yesterday afternoon?" "Right foot, I just said it." "I'll rub it for you," Lin Feng said. "Forget it, just the two of us, don't mess around, or it will become ambiguous." "Don't be nervous or ambiguous. I also learned a little kneading when I practiced Kung Fu before. Maybe it's useful." Lin Feng lifted AI Wen's right leg and placed it on his. He felt the texture and temperature of AI Wen's slender legs, and his hand grabbed AI Wen's feet and kneaded. Oh, it hurts a bit, but fortunately, it seems that your kid really knows it." Oh, a little light, it hurts too much." "Really light?" If people outside hear it, it's easy to imagine a wonderful and warm scene, but Lin Feng and AI Wen really didn't do anything, just rubbing their feet. Facing the beauty editor-in-chief, Lin Feng had to calm himself down even if he didn't want to calm down. Even if the beauty editor's slender legs were on his legs, he wouldn't dare to touch them easily. If you risk being scolded to touch. It's not impossible, but he doesn't want to blaspheme the beauty editor. After kneading for almost half an hour, AI Wen first cried out that it hurt, and then smiled happily because she felt comfortable. Finished kneading. Lin Feng lightly patted AI Wen's thigh with his hand, and said with a smile, "Do you feel better?" "It's much better, you're a good kid, and I'm impressed with you again." "Oh, why did you pat me on the thigh just now?" "Did I shoot?" "You took it," Yvonne said. "Since I forgot to pat your thigh, it must be unconscious, I'm sorry," Lin Feng said. AI Wen smiled relievedly, did not pursue further, got up, walked over, sat on the chair beside the computer desk, and turned on the computer. Soon he opened Lin Feng's book and read it. Lin Feng sat next to Ai Wen and read his pages with the beauty editor-in-chief. He was a little proud but also a little embarrassed. Ai Wendeo, the data of your book is getting better and better, keep writing it long. Maybe you can create a miracle that you can't believe. Lin Feng said, I will try to write as long as possible, but you can also see that more and more people are making troubles. I can almost guess who is making troubles. Ai Wen hesitated for a moment and said, it's not good for authors to suspect each other. Oh, then tell me, who do you think is causing trouble? I still don't want to talk about it, Lin Feng said. It doesn't matter, it's just the two of us here, you can say whatever you want, Yvonne said. Lin Feng named an author. Ai Wen's face sank, and he smiled relieved after a while. Maybe your idea is wrong. I can see from your expression just now. I think it's right. It's him. Lin Feng's fists were clenched, and fire flashed from his eyes. No matter who it is, there will be coordination in the company. You can't solve it by force. Your kung fu is so high. If you beat people up for good or bad, the company will deal with you seriously. Maybe you won't sign your book in the future. Don't you can get carried away thinking that your book has a good grade. Ai Wen's tone was a little heavy, but Lin Feng didn't feel uncomfortable, and he didn't think that Ai Wen was speaking for the author who envied him, but was just warning him of the possible serious consequences. Lin Feng lit a cigarette. He didn't intend to blow the smoke on Ai Wen's face, but the smoke drifted in that direction. In Ai Wen's opinion, Lin Feng's behavior just now was teasing her. Ai Wen raised his fist and hit Lin Feng's arm, and said angrily, do you think it is appropriate for a man with a superb girlfriend to tease a single woman like me? Lin Feng was speechless for a while, and was very embarrassed for a while, and then he smiled relievedly. The smoke drifted by himself just now. Wen Qing, you should also find a boyfriend. I've been looking for it, but I haven't found a suitable one yet. This time I'm going to find someone who has a common hobby. Maybe this will be easier for a long time. You are so beautiful, so tasteful, and so talented, you will definitely be able to find Mr. Ruyi. Lin Feng said, have you written anything recently? I wrote it, but what I wrote was some sour stuff, and it was difficult to exchange it for money. Yvonne opened the bag and took out a USB flash drive. Would you like to enjoy it? Don't you like handwriting? What I write by hand is all modern poetry or prose. For novels, I use the keyboard. Otherwise, it will affect the speed. I don't have much free time. Speed is still very important. Ai Wen plugged in the USB flash drive, and Lin Feng saw Ai Wen's novel, which had a total of 120,000 words. After reading only a few thousand words at the beginning, Lin Feng was sure that this novel was actually about Ai Wen's previous love story. It is very literary, very real, and very delicate. This kind of thing can be used to read for yourself, or you can show it to your best friend. Of course, if you are lucky, there may be a physical book, but the possibility is not very big. Lin Feng said, you told me just now that you have let go. If you really let go, you won't be able to write these things. Ai Wen said, we have different perspectives on this issue. I think the reason why we wrote these things is because we let them go. There is no point in arguing on this issue, whether to let it go or not, and what way to live, only Ai Wen knows best. Lin Feng read Ai Wen's novel very seriously. Ai Wen sat beside him and didn't make any sound, but her aroma kept coming towards Lin Feng, including the smell of her skin, and the faint warmth from her body. The air was used as a medium to transfer it to Lin Feng. Lin Feng's body is tall and straight, but he ignored it at this time and kept reading Ai Wen's novels. Ai Wen stared at Lin Feng's face 3 times, the first time she was smiling, the second time she was charming, and the third time she was confused. After more than an hour passed, Lin Feng smiled and said, it's very good, although it doesn't meet the elements of a commercial novel, but it's written really well, and it's very good at writing. Although I am very good at helping the authors in the group design the characters and plots of commercial novels, it is not the case for me to write them myself. Similarly, if an author who is very good at writing commercial novels becomes an editor, it may not be very good. The author has the strengths of the author, and the editor has the strengths of the editor. If a good author wants to be a good editor, he must spend time and energy to temper, Lin Feng said. Ai Wen recognized Lin Feng's words just now, but she suddenly said, "Oh, your girlfriend won't come in suddenly, right?" "No, even if she wants to come, she will call in advance. Besides, she doesn't doubt what the two of us will do, so she won't come over. My girlfriend is very tolerant to me, she is a kind and considerate person." "Good girl." When Lin Feng said this, his cell phone really rang, but it wasn't from Tian Qingzhu, it was from Meng Jiwei's mother, Zhu Qinglan, who was a bastard. At this time, I called him. Zhu Qinglan said that she wanted to come to the door to apologize to Lin Feng. Originally, with the beautiful editor-in-chief around, it was not suitable to see Zhu Qinglan, but since they got together, let her come. Ai Wen said, "I see that your face is a bit unnatural, the woman who is coming must be very special, if it is not convenient for me to see, I will leave." Lin Feng said, "It's all right, in fact, the woman who is coming is not an important person. I didn't treat her as a dish, and you don't have to treat her as a dish. You finally come here, let's play for a while and eat together. Go after dinner." Also, Ai Wen came out on leave. Since she was out this afternoon, she didn't plan to go back to the company. She didn't want to go home alone. She was alone when she returned home, and it was easy to feel lonely. Seeing that Lin Feng opened the document, Ai Wen wondered, "You're really good at it, but there are guests coming later, do you still want to code in advance?" Lin Feng said, "I originally planned to start coding at this point. Whether or not there is a guest coming, I have to code. Have a personality. To be continued. If you like this work, you are welcome to come to the starting point, to vote for recommendation and monthly tickets. Your support is my biggest motivation. Mobile users, please go to to read. Peach Youth. Author, Su Kifeng. Chapter 355. Ai Wen has become more and more appreciative of Lin Feng, but so far, her appreciation for Lin Feng is still among friends, slightly more than the editor's appreciation of the author, but it is only a friend. Lin Feng coded the words, and Ai Wen watched carefully next to him. Lin Feng's hand feels very good. Pressing the green axis mechanical keyboard feels very good. The plot is smooth and the writing is wonderful. He is quite satisfied with the consecutive paragraphs. Ai Wen's mouth showed a bright smile. It seems that this book has been edited so far, you still have a lot of plots to progress, and a new plot was opened just now. Let me predict, I guess this plot, if the writing is full, it will take hundreds of thousands of words. Lin Feng's hand continued to press the keyboard briskly, and smiled, "Your prediction is very accurate. The plot is planned to be coded in 150,000 words, that is, 50 chapters of 3,000 words. Ai Wen nodded slightly and continued to read Lin Feng's code. When Lin Feng wrote a 3,000-word chapter, his cell phone rang again, and Zhu Qinglan said that she had left the community. He will soon see the woman Zhu Qinglan. Lin Feng must control his inner anger. Although he has not suffered from the confrontation so far, Li Yang and Li Xingguo's injuries are not yet healed, especially Li Xingguo's arm. At least two it took only you to recover, which made Lin Feng want to wave his fist at the stinky woman Zhu Qinglan and beat the stinky woman with blood all over her face. Lin Feng didn't want to use force today, so he didn't want Zhu Qinglan to provoke her, but he hoped that woman wouldn't be too arrogant and won't be too aggressive. Although his kung fu is very high, although he has been brutal before, but he prefers to be gentle in front of the beauty editor. Being able to show different styles in front of different people should be regarded as one of Lin Feng's strengths. Lin Feng asked Ai Wen to wait first. He ran out and saw Zhu Qinglan outside the community. At the same time, he also saw a woman who looked a bit like Zhu Qinglan but was much younger. Although this woman is younger than Zhu Qinglan, she should be around 35 years old, judging from the charm in her beauty. The figure is curvaceous and full, quite the charm of a mature woman. According to what Li Xingguo said before, this woman should be Zhu Qinglan's sister Zhu Qingyu, the head nurse of the obstetrics and gynecology department of Beijing Y Hospital. Zhu Qingyu belongs to the kind of woman who can easily make a man tall and straight, and Lin Feng is very tall and straight at this time. Lin Feng pretended not to know Zhu Qingyu, glanced at her beautiful face slightly, and then looked at Zhu Qinglan. Come here. You are carrying so many gifts, and I have always valued not gifts, but its sincerity. Lin Xiao, I have no eye for eyeballs. I don't know how to offend you, but it happened. And it has passed. You must give me a chance to express sincerity. Since my sister and I have both arrived at the gate of the community, do you ask me? Shall we go sit at your house? Bring it on. Lin Feng was not afraid that Zhu Qinglan and Zhu Qingyu would be too surprised. Meng Jiwei probably told them long ago that the boy Lin Feng lived in was just a master bedroom in a rental house. Walking into the labyrinth-like house, Zhu Qingyu looked around. Wei Wei was surprised, and after a while, she said in a low voice, "This is the legendary partition room. I saw it in a talk show on Beijing TV. This kind of layout is very dangerous." Zhu Qinglan said, "This kind of living environment is very simple, but it can't be ruled out that there are dragons and crouching tigers in such a simple partition room. Look at Lin Xiao, what a powerful person, he still lives in such a partition room." Lin Feng wanted to correct it. In fact, he is no longer living in a partition room, but the master bedroom, but there are partition rooms around, so the master bedroom he lives in can be regarded as a partition room. If a high-end shopping mall is built in a slum area, then this high-end shopping mall is also a slum area, and all the high-end luxury shopping malls will be integrated with the surrounding dilapidated ones, and the result is that the business is not good. Gradually, various international brands will be replaced with various small commodities, and this high-end shopping mall will also become a landmark in the slum. Lin Feng opened the door of the master bedroom and saw a young and beautiful woman sitting on the sofa, and this woman was not Tian Qingzhu, the beauty school of Beijing Normal University. Zhu Qinglan and Zhu Qingyu were both very surprised. Lin Feng is romantic enough, and he is surrounded by top-notch beauties. In addition, Miss Ye from Hungtu Company is his friend. This kid must have a strong background. He must be playing with his parents, so he came from the villa alone. Or run out of a mansion to rent a house, refuse to practice in a big company, and make a living by writing online novels. Zhu Qinglan is a businesswoman who has never even read online novels before, but a very mature urban routine in online novels suddenly appeared in her mind. Ai Wen was very embarrassed, because the two women who came in already thought of her and Lin Feng as having an ambiguous relationship. Ai Wen gave Lin Feng a special look, hoping that he could explain. Lin Feng originally thought that he had met Zhu Qinglan and Zhu Qingyu this time. The next time he would meet a woman in a few years, it might not be necessary to introduce Ai Wen, but if he didn't introduce the two of them, he would continue to misunderstand, and Ai Wen would be unhappy. How about a brief introduction? Lin Feng said, "This beauty is an editor-in-chief of the editorial department of the company I signed with. This time she came to see me to talk about the plot of the novel. I didn't expect you to come here at this time. Lin Xiao, you are very busy right now. My sister and I are here at a bad time. We will try to delay your time as little as possible." Zhu Qinglan smiled. "Sit down, I'll make tea." Lin Feng went to make tea. Zhu Qinglan and Zhu Qingyu sat next to Ai Wen. They were not familiar with each other, so they were a little embarrassed. Ai Wen saw that the gifts brought by these two women wearing high-end clothes and good temperament are famous tobacco, wine, and tea. The smoke is Yellow Crane Tower 1916, the wine is Fishan Moutai, and the tea is Westlake Longjing. However, there are two possibilities for them to bring such an expensive gift here: first, to come to Linfeng to do business; second, to apologize. Ai Wen was a little looking forward to the fast progress of the episode that appeared by her side, and wanted to know what the two women were here for. What is certain is that they are not relatives of Linfeng, because Linfeng has no relatives to them. It doesn't look like it. Linfeng brewed tea and brought it over, smiled and said, "Please drink tea." Zhu Qinglan and Zhu Qingyu would naturally give Linfeng face very much. They both took a sip of the tea and tasted it in an instant. This is a very high-end good tea, definitely not worse than the tea they brought. Zhu Qinglan smiled and said, "Priming Biluakan is very high quality, Shaolin, you are very particular about drinking tea." Linfeng said, "I just snort and drink, and sometimes I drink tea like drinking swill." Haha, Zhu Qinglan laughed. Ft, Zhu Qingyu laughed. Hey, Ai Wen smiled. After laughing, Zhu Qinglan calmed down and sighed softly, "Before my son Ji Wei pestered your girlfriend Tian Qingzhu, all the mistakes were all his fault. You should also be hit, and you should take it. You also took the money. All these things have passed. This time my sister and I came here with gifts, just to express our sincerity. We will never go against you again in the future, and I hope you can really take this page in your heart, turn it over." Linfeng said with a relieved smile, "I'm not a difficult person to talk about. What I value is sincerity. Since your sincerity is here, then it's okay. In front of the two of you, I can say that this page has been turned over." Zhu Qinglan originally wanted to tell her face to face how valuable the gift she brought, but after tasting the top quality Biluakan from the Ming dynasty made by Linfeng, she gave up the idea. She went on to introduce the suspicion of unavoidable mischief. Zhu Qinglan and Zhu Qingyu left after staying for less than half an hour. The beauty editor, Ai Wen, was too surprised. Her rosy lips slightly opened, and she looked at Linfeng's face very differently. She almost didn't know Linfeng anymore. "Your expression is so cute." Linfeng twisted Ai Wen's beautiful face, and in an instant he experienced the delicateness of Ai Wen's skin. "Oh, it hurts so much, you bastard, so hard to pin my face. You must be reluctant to pin your girlfriend Bamboo so hard." Ai Wen's fan fist slammed Linfeng's arm, and after a while he said leisurely, "The scene that happened just now is more exciting than the plot of the novel. If you are reading the plot of the novel, no matter how detailed the author's description is, you will inevitably have to make it up yourself. Brain, but I didn't need to make up my brain just now to see it for real. Linfeng, your kid is amazing, your life is very YY. YY bird, look at the broken place I live in, that is, the master bedroom of a rental room with multiple partition rooms. The source of income is the royalties. I have worked hard to reach 1,000 words and 100 today. It's too far from YY. But the Patek Philippe on your arm is very YY, and the scene just now is very YY. Your girlfriend, Tian Qingzhu, the school flower of Beijing Normal University, is even more YY," Ai Wen said. "What is YY? Many people think that YY is Italian silver. In fact, YY is a beautiful thing, something that makes people feel happy and enjoyable." Linfeng's grasp of this concept is very accurate, and he briefly reminisced about it for a moment. Although he is a child of ordinary people, although most of what he usually does is ordinary people's things, he is also very YY. Suddenly, he felt that his body was very tall and straight, and the outline was very prominent. I hope the editor-in-chief of the Beauty did not notice his outline. At this time, Linfeng wanted to block that outline immediately, so he sat on the chair in front of the computer desk and started typing on the keyboard. Ai Wendeo, the famous tobacco, famous wine, and famous tea are placed on the ground, and you don't even look at it. Linfeng said, "There's nothing to see." Ai Wendeo, I really have you. You must have seen a lot of good things before. I usually rarely drink such good tea. Linfeng said, "I'll give you a little later." Ai Wen said, don't. Lin Feng said, if you don't want me, I will kiss your face. Ai Wendao, if you kiss my face, I will go to your girlfriend Tian Qingzi to file a complaint. Your support is my biggest motivation. Mobile phone users, please go to M to read. Peach Youth. Author, Su Kifeng. Chapter 356. Hearing Ai Wen say, kissing her face, she went to the beautiful bamboo to complain. Lin Feng smiled, although he is a very mature person, but his smile at this time is a little cute, but he didn't realize it himself. Ai Wen also laughed, and after laughing, he said angrily, I have never seen an author who is rude to the beauty editor-in-chief like you, but you actually want to kiss my face. If this is to let other people in the company know, there will be no scandal. Come on, what I hate the most is scandals, so don't mention these things when you chat with other writers in the future. She quickly thought of the scene where Lin Feng was a guest at her house before, and the two hugged and danced together. It was very ambiguous and even a little wet. Her towering chest touched Lin Feng's body, and Lin Feng's hand also touched her asterisk, although through the clothes, it is ambiguous enough. But there have been no scandals about the somewhat ambiguous things in the past. Ai Wen can be sure that Lin Feng has never used these things to talk about to others before. Just because I didn't say it before doesn't mean I won't say it in the future. Ai Wen couldn't wait for Lin Feng's response, and twisted his arm hard, which was very painful, but Lin Feng didn't cry out, and continued to code with a smile on his face. Ai Wen was shy and worried. Lin Feng, did you hear what I said just now? I have always had a very good impression of you, and you have also seen that the relationship between me and them is very ordinary, that is, the relationship with you is very good. Well, don't make any scandals for me. Lin Feng didn't want to say anything at first, and wanted to use practical actions to let Ai Wen understand what kind of person he was, but if he didn't say anything, Ai Wen will always worry about it. If it affects her life, it is too bad. Lin Feng looked at Ai Wen's face and said solemnly, if I talk nonsense, I'll firstly be sorry for my conscience, and secondly, I'm sorry for you. In my heart, you are the best editor, very fair, very level, and very dedicated. The company has such a good editor as you. It is the company's wealth, and the author has such a good editor as you. It is an honor for the author. I am a contract author of the company, so I am honored. If you think I didn't say enough, I can get up and bow to you. Evan was stunned. In fact, what she wanted was Lin Feng's verbal assurance. Unexpectedly, Lin Feng gave her such a high evaluation. Whether it is a man or a woman, it is very comforting to receive such a high evaluation from others. What's more, Ai Wen was a person who cared about Lin Feng's evaluation of her. She was very excited. Looking at Lin Feng's face, she didn't know what to say for a while. Lin Feng was a little stunned. He didn't know what Ai Wen was thinking, but he really stood up and bowed to Ai Wen. You bastard, you really bow to me, what do you mean? You embarrass me too. Ai Wen's face was all red, and Lin Feng's bow just now had a prank effect, causing Ai Wen's pink fist to beat his body again. Ai Wen worked hard, but Lin Feng was very comfortable. After tossing for a few minutes, both of them calmed down. Ai Wen shyly said, am I as good as you said? Have. I don't think so myself, Yvonne said. You have given up too much for your own hobbies, and the reason why you can achieve such good results in your current position and have been recognized by so many colleagues and authors is because you have done a good job. Go ahead and code. Okay. Lin Feng continued to type on the keyboard. Ai Wen had been watching the plot written by Lin Feng with his heart. After the 3-day break, the plot of Lin Feng's novel seemed to have entered a new realm. Ai Wen wanted to applaud, but I just said in my heart, Lin Feng, the plot you wrote in the past 2 days is awesome, and I hope it will get better and better in the future. By the time of dinner, Lin Feng coded out 9,000 words, that is, 3 chapters of 3,000 words, which were updated after a simple revision. After reading Lin Feng's book pages together, the rapidly increasing data and book reviews of various opinions gave Lin Feng and Ai Wen a sense of accomplishment. Ai Wen smiled and said, "How much do you plan to explode today?" 18,000 words. You broke 36,000 words yesterday. In fact, the 3 chapters just now are enough today. With such a superb girlfriend, you can spend more time with her, and you can't spend all your time on code words. Ignoring the feelings of my girlfriend, I am very happy for you and Tian Qingzhu, and I hope you can continue for a long time, Ai Wen said. Thank you for your reminder, thank you for your blessing, you are so kind, beautiful and kind, delicate and responsible, let's have dinner together. Lin Fengzin said, my lovely beauty editor-in-chief, Tian Qingzhu is actually not my girlfriend, you don't know her family and her beliefs, you don't know the story between me and her, neither do I know what kind of decision she will make after returning from Qiushan town in Shu province. When Lin Feng and Ai Wen had eaten together, it was already past 8 o'clock in the evening. Ai Wen and Lin Feng went to the shop to have a look, chatted with Dainan and Tian Qingzhu, and then drove away. In front of Dainan, Lin Feng took Tian Qingzhu into his arms. Daishan Wangbiku Pavilion. After a kiss, Tian Qingzhu half pushed, shy and intoxicated. Dainan said, the two of you can find a place to make out, just have me alone in the store. Tian Qingzhu said, Sister Nan, you said that again, I don't want to make out with him, I want to take care of the business in the store with you. Dainan laughed, Tian Qingzhu's face was even more rosy than before. Lin Feng finished smoking a cigarette in the store, and then left. After returning to his partition room, he put away the tobacco, alcohol, and tea brought by Zhu Qinglan and Zhu Qingyu. When Ai Wen left, Lin Feng brought her half a caddy of Westlake Longjing. Ai Wen didn't want it, but it was difficult to refuse Lin Feng's kindness, and finally accepted it. At that moment, her beautiful face was slightly red, and there was a very special kind of eyes in her eyes. Sentiment. Lin Feng didn't look directly into Ai Wen's eyes, but he still vaguely felt the emotion, and hoped that that moment was an illusion. Lin Feng planned to keep the cigarettes and tea leaves, and sent the 3 bottles of Fishan Mutai to Jinwu Center. Because of Tian Qingzhu, Li Yang and Li Xingguo were both seriously injured. Lin Feng felt very guilty. Such an iron friend, Lin Feng is very satisfied. At the same time, Lin Feng also thought of his iron buddy Zhao Heidao. Because of Su Qingyuan's big lie, he and Zhao Heidao have reached the point of incompatibility, but he still regards Zhao Heidao as an iron buddy in his heart, but he doesn't know what image he has become in Zhao Heidao's heart. Should be bad. In order to change the situation, Su Qingyuan, the wealthy eldest lady, must be passed. If Su Qingyuan didn't tell the truth, Zhao Heidao would never believe it. After a while, Lin Feng plans to go to Taiyuan, Jin province, find Su Qingyuan, and try to resolve the misunderstanding between him and Zhao Heidao, but Lin Feng can't imagine what will happen when he arrives in Taiyuan, Jin province. Su Qingyuan, the coal boss, the eldest lady of the family, is very difficult to deal with. If Su Qingyuan does not cooperate, things will be very troublesome. Maybe it was because his mood was a little too complicated just now. When Lin Feng faced the document again, his thoughts were a little confused. The latest episode of the plot was supposed to be smooth, but he was even a little suspicious of this idea. Did readers like him to write it like this? In the process of writing, Lin Feng tries to add what he wants to write as much as possible, but he must also take into account the feelings of the readers. After all, it is a commercial novel. If he does not take into account the readers will abandon him. In Lin Feng's understanding, YY is a kind of beauty, so he will try his best to bring some beauty to his readers, but there is no shortage of realistic sentiment. His plots are all based on real urban life. After more than half an hour of deliberation, Lin Feng finally started typing on the keyboard again. At the same time, Tian Qingzu and Dainan chatted about a very special issue. Tian Qingzu just mentioned that Lin Feng and Ai Wen are actually a very suitable pair. If Lin Feng and Ai Wen come together, they will truly be happy. Dainan patted Tian Qingzu's arm and said angrily, "What's the matter with you? You are almost Lin Feng's girlfriend, why do you always push Lin Feng out?" After a while, I said that Lin Feng and Wang Wei are suitable. After a while, I said that Lin Feng and Ai Wen are suitable. Don't you realize that Lin Feng and you are the most suitable? You are so beautiful, what are you thinking about in your head? Could it be that other people's happiness is happiness, but your happiness is not happiness? Tian Qingzu was speechless. What he most hoped was that customers would come in immediately to resolve this embarrassment. Sure enough, a customer came in. Tian Qingzu didn't need to continue the topic with Dainan, she went to introduce something to the customer, but Dainan, who was sitting at the cashier, had a sad face. When Fengnan fashion store closed today's business, Lin Feng was still very involved in coding. Today's goal is 18,000 words, and he has already exploded 15,000 words, and the rest 3,000 words is not a problem. When Dainan originally wanted Tian Qingzu to go back with her, Tian Qingzu said that she could not stay in the dormitory every night, otherwise it would be easy to spread scandals. This night, Dainan insisted on going back to the dormitory, so Dainan could only send Tian Qingzu first. After returning to the girls' dormitory, I went home. Beauty Bamboo wearing a slightly classy skirt is easy to cause a sensation, and it is even more likely to cause a sensation if she always stays home at night. Facing the partition room, Dainan did not open the door. He hesitated for a moment and knocked on Lin Feng's door. Lin Feng opened the door and saw that Dainan was alone, and said with a smile, "Come in." Dainan walked in and sat on the sofa, with a sad face on her beautiful face. Lin Feng walked over and sat beside her, put her in his arms, and quickly let Dainan push away. "Who made you angry?" "Green Bamboo." "Oh, how did she provoke you? Qingzu is so gentle, you won't quarrel with her, right?" Lin Feng could hardly imagine what it would be like if Dainan and Tian Qingzu quarreled. "I didn't quarrel with her, but what she said made me want to slap her twice." "What did she say?" Lin Feng was surprised. "Did she say that she will not come back when she returns to Qiushan town in Shu province?" "It's not this, but she actually said that you and Ai Wen are the most suitable." "Do you think she is very talented?" Dainan said. "You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Peach Youth. Author, Su Kifeng. Chapter 357. There was a rumbling thunder in Lin Feng's head, and after a while, he said, "Ai Wen and I are the relationship between the author and the editor, or the relationship between ordinary friends. Ai Wen is a woman with a very special mood, she has had a lot of the unforgettable love has been unforgettable for a long time, and there is a person in her heart who is difficult to be replaced, and there will be no result between me and her." Dainan glanced at Lin Feng's face with dissatisfaction, and obviously felt that it was not enough to attack him with just his eyes, so he twisted his arm again, and said coldly, "Listen to what you mean, you are already in your heart. Have you thought about Ai Wen for a long time?" Lin Feng lit a cigarette, sighed and exhaled a breath of smoke. "We are very good friends, I don't need to be sloppy in front of you. I admit that I have thought about Ai Wen before, but only very briefly and rationally. However, I don't think she's suitable to be my girlfriend, and she won't be my girlfriend. In our circle, there are writers and editors who are married, but it's obviously impossible for me and Ai Wen. You should think more about Qingzu. Seriously, there are a lot of beautiful people in this world, but there are too few beautiful beauties like Qingzu. If you and Qingzu miss it, it will be the biggest in your life." Lost Dainan said. "I've been thinking about Qingzu and myself during this time. My biggest hope now is that when Qingzu returns from Qiushan town in Shu province, I can be my girlfriend," Lin Feng said. Maybe you think my friend is very troublesome, but I can't control myself. Oh, I'm a little tired. I went back to sleep. You were very tired from typing yesterday. Go to bed earlier today. Dinan's steps were always so graceful. When she walked out of Linfeng's room, the special aroma was still diffused in the room. Linfeng savored the aroma and continued to type on the keyboard. When Linfeng broke out 18,000 words, and there was still half an hour before midnight, he opened the page with a sense of accomplishment and read it. The data is constantly refreshed, and the response of readers is getting stronger and stronger. Although the company has already dealt with some book reviews that are too vexatious, there are sometimes book reviews attacking Linfeng in the book review area, and some book reviews still say that today's outbreak is also the behavior of the gunman. It may be that I chatted a lot with AI when during the day. At this time, Linfeng calmed down a lot in the face of these malicious book reviews. At midnight, Linfeng stripped himself naked and lay down on the bed. Thinking traveled around the world for almost half an hour, gradually calmed down, and gradually fell asleep. Morning. Linfeng and Dinan had breakfast together. Dinan went to Fengnan fashion store. Linfeng was waiting for the bus on the roadside with 3 bottles of Fishan Mutai. He planned to go to Jinwu Center to see Li Yang and Li Xingguo. The taxi hasn't come yet. But someone he didn't want to see came over. It was Chen Lufei, a good friend of the beauty teacher Shang Yuna. Chen Lufei did not simply pass by, but came specifically to find Linfeng. She grabbed her phone as if she was about to dial a number, and walked in his direction after seeing Linfeng. Where are you going? Where I go is none of your business. Who are you? Are you qualified to control where I go? Linfeng said coldly. I know you hate me, I know you're not happy with me, I'm afraid that the moment you see me, you, a highly skilled person, want to punch me and break my nose. If you really want to hit me, then just hit me, no matter what you hit me like, I won't call the police. Chen Lufei continued to approach Linfeng, and the pair of full were about to hit Linfeng's body. Linfeng took 2 small steps back, and made a gesture to remind Chen Lufei not to walk past. Chen Lufei's footsteps stopped, and her eyes fell on Linfeng's face with a bit of sincerity. I want to chat with you. The two of us are not friends, and we have no common hobbies. What's there to talk about? Linfeng said. Maybe there is a chat. I don't have to talk, Linfeng Xin said. Why isn't the taxi coming? Do you force me to walk a few more steps to the bus stop? Look. Chen Lufei took out her and Li He's divorce certificate for Linfeng to see. When Linfeng saw the 3 words of the divorce certificate, he naturally knew that Chen Lufei and Li He had divorced. In Linfeng's eyes, Chen Lufei is a hateful woman, but also an irrelevant woman. Even if Chen Lufei played a very bad role in the process of breaking up with Shang Yuna, and he was disgusted, he didn't want to take revenge anymore. Linfeng said, is this woman having an endocrine disorder? It's so nonsense. What do you want me to do with this? Can your divorce certificate be considered a work of art? Get thee out of here. Chen Lufei said, I used to think my mouth was better than yours, because my sharp sarcasm made you miserable and frustrated you, but now I realize that your mouth is much better than mine. After listening to what you said just now, I have the heart to die, but even if I want to die, I have to talk to you before I die. I rely on. Linfeng shouted these 2 words in his heart, and he couldn't help but wonder, this woman took the divorce certificate and told him that she wanted to die. What kind of plane was going on? It may be that under the strong stimulation, Chen Lufei's endocrine disorder is really disordered, and it is a very serious disorder. Originally, Chen Lufei's life and death had nothing to do with him. If you heard others say to him, do you know? Chen Lufei died, and his reaction was generally just a little surprised, and then he thought, why did that woman die? She was so young, and then there would be no other great feelings. But when Chen Lufei said to him that he wanted to die, Linfeng hesitated for a moment and said, If you really want to chat with me, then wait after 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Okay, then you're busy first, I'll go first. Chen Lukfi. I walked away quickly. Her footsteps were very fast. Theoretically it would be difficult for a woman of her height to walk so fast, because her legs were not long, but her footsteps were really fast, like she wanted to fly, but his feet could not leave the ground. The taxi finally came, Lin Feng sat on it, and soon arrived at the Jinwu Center. As soon as he entered the door, he saw Chang Yaxing, a pure beauty at the front desk. Since she came to the bustling metropolis of Beijing, Chang Yaxing has been savoring the taste of the city with her heart every day. She is changing every day. She is fashionable and has a little taste, but one thing has not changed. It's her purity, and the local accent that sometimes jumps out. Chang Yaxing's mood was originally normal, but the moment she saw Lin Feng, her eyes lit up. She even jumped a few times in a long skirt, and her towering chest swayed in front of Lin Feng. But at this time, the distance between Lin Feng and her is about 6 meters, and even if Lin Feng's arms are straight, they cannot touch her chest. Lin Feng carried the 3 bottles of Fishan Mutai to the front desk, smiled and said, I came to see Master Li and Xiao Li. I won't talk to you for now, I'll tell you something later. Oh, good. Chang Yaxing was very hopeful, not knowing what Lin Feng wanted to say to her. Lin Feng and Chang Yaxing had a certain amount of ambiguity before, and Lin Feng could also see Chang Yaxing's affection for him, which made him a little hot and a little uneasy. Lin Feng saw Li Yang and Li Xingguo. Li Yang's injuries recovered very quickly. It is estimated that he will recover in a short period of time. Although he is old, his health is still very good. Looking at Li Xingguo's arms, Lin Feng felt very guilty, and in front of Li Xingguo, Lin Feng slapped himself. Li Xingguo grabbed Lin Feng's arm in an instant and said loudly, Dude, what are you doing? We're still good buddies, but I don't seem to have brought you any benefits as a buddy. It seems that you are helping me every time, especially this time, my bad things have made you suffer so much. The injury, Lin Feng said. Your memory seems to be a little bad. In theory, a writer of online novels like you who can create wonderful plots every day will not have a bad memory. You dare to say that you have not helped me before? You have helped Jinwu Center deal with challenges before. People, you have helped me and Zhao Fei have said a lot of good things before, even my father admitted that if it wasn't for your words at the time, he would not agree with me and Zhao Fei. Li Xingguo said. It's true that Lin Feng helped Jinwu Center deal with the challenger, but he didn't think that without his help, Li Yang would eventually forcibly separate Li Xingguo and Zhao Fei. Now that Li Xingguo and Zhao Fei are married, let's think about this. Seems to be a bit frustrating. Li Yang asked about the origin of these 3 bottles of Fishan Mutai, and when Lin Feng said that Zhu Qinglan gave them, Li Yang and Li Xingguo both laughed. Li Yang said, it seems that the woman Zhu Qinglan is really convinced, and will not challenge you in the future. Now that Zhu Qinglan is convinced, Meng Jiwei's will also be convinced, and this page has been turned over. Lin Feng said, originally, these things could not have happened, but they still happened. When I think about it, sometimes, people just can't get along with themselves. It seems that they can't get along with others, but they are actually struggling with themselves. Li Yang said, it makes sense, Lin Feng, your son is much more mature than my son. He has many aspects worth learning from you. Lin Feng said, actually, Xingguo is a very level person, but you, the father of the authority, are obsessed. There was laughter again, and the atmosphere was very good. Because of Lin Feng's arrival, lunch was brought forward by more than an hour. Lin Feng and Li Yang, Li Xingguo and Zhao Fei drank together. When they were having a good time, Li Yang mentioned Lin Feng's father and hoped that Lin Feng's father would come to Beijing when he had time. And then spent a few days at the Jinwu Center to have a good discussion on the topic of Kung Fu. Lin Feng knew very well that his father was a person who didn't like to go out. Although his small town was not too far from Beijing, his father had not been to Beijing for 5 or 6 years. The scope of his usual activities was the county seat, and there were some new developments in the county seat. The streets have not been visited. Some people like to wander around and even travel around the world, but some people are too lazy to move. Lin Feng's father is the kind of person who is too lazy to move. Life is ordinary but also very comfortable. The only worry is Lin Feng's marriage, etc. After Lin Feng finds a girlfriend and gets married, it will be even better. To be continued. If you like this work, you are welcome to come to the starting point, to vote for recommendation and monthly tickets. Your support is my biggest motivation. Mobile users, please go to to read. Peach Youth. Author, Su Kifeng. Chapter 358. After eating, Lin Feng and Li Yang and Li Xingguo and their father and son had tea and chatted for more than half an hour before arriving at the front desk and seeing Chang Yaxing, who was beautiful and graceful. Whenever he saw Chang Yaxing, he wanted to take her into his arms and stroke her. He had indeed stroked Chang Yaxing's body before. Lin Feng had touched Chang Yaxing's body several times before, and knew that her curves were beautiful and her skin was delicate. Chang Yaxing looked at Lin Feng with a bit of emotion, and Lin Feng looked at Chang Yaxing with a bit of desire. Chang Yaxing said, "Don't you have something to tell me? Say it." Lin Feng said, "I want to call you, and then call Qingzu and Dainan. Let's have a meal together. The reason is this, Chang Yaxing said, "You don't need to explain, I know what your intentions are. You want to use my attitude towards the city to change Qingzu's attitude towards the city, so that she is more likely to stay, right?" It's more than right, it's simply accurate to the extreme. Lin Feng said, "Yaxing, to be honest, I never thought that you, a girl from a small backward village, would have such a high emotional intelligence. I admire you very much." Chang Yaxing said, "You are my idol, I dare not let my idol admire me." Lin Feng, "Don't admire me, let me admire you." Her smile is very light, but this kind of light smile, as beautiful as apricot blossoms, has a kind of enchanting charm. Lin Feng really wants to touch her softness, and wants to taste her fragrance attentively. It's better not to do things. People have desires, sometimes they can be vented, and sometimes they need to be controlled. Lin Feng said, "Then I'll go first, and I'll contact you later." Chang Yaxing said, "Even if I'm not your girlfriend, even if you never thought of letting me be your girlfriend, we are still good friends, you can treat me as your beauty. Since you are here, just chat with me for a while. The coaches and staff of Jinwu Center like to chat with me, but I don't like to chat with them. They invite me to eat and I don't want to eat. They invite me to K-song, I don't want to sing. I don't want to watch movies. I just love to chat with you. In my heart, you are an encyclopedia. Oh, of course, if you want to invite me to dinner and watch movies, I'll be happier." Lin Feng said with a relieved smile, "Just what I have in my head, and the encyclopedia, why don't you say that I am an Oxford Dictionary? Also, when I have time, I will invite you to dinner and a movie. As you said, your English is very general, so you are not an Oxford Dictionary. And the Oxford Dictionary is not comparable to an encyclopedia. If one does not know English, one can live well, but if one does not understand anything, then it will be very embarrassing. Oh, speaking of this embarrassing character, in fact, I only recently learned that this character is pronounced embarrassing. I used to think that this character is a fixed type of print, because sometimes the print will change the wording." Chang Yaxing said, "I would be very happy if you could just invite me to dinner and a movie, but I have no other intentions, I'm just chatting with you casually." Chang Yaxing's seemingly brisk and casual words revealed a very important message, that is, she longed to be alone with Lin Feng. She mentioned Hanjian just now, and Lin Feng had thought about it before. Can he sleep with Hanjian? He didn't figure it out, and then he spent more than half an hour with his mother. Some netizens believe that Hanjian can be used to sleep. Some netizens think that Hanjian can't be used to sleep, and some netizens say that you can say to Hanjian after sleeping, "I'm sorry, I was wrong, you will always be my Hanjian in the future," and this sentence can be used twice. Thousands of times. Lin Feng also sat at the front desk. No one passed by. Chang Yasing's graceful body leaned against him. The softness and aroma from her body made Lin Feng very comfortable. Lin Feng pinched Chang Yaxing's buttocks through the long skirt, and said with a smile, "Apart from being an idol, do you think I'm not something?" "No. But I sometimes eat your tofu," Lin Feng said. "That's not it, you think. The reason why you can eat my tofu sometimes is because I like to let you eat tofu. If I don't like to let you eat it, you can't eat it. Don't think you are a kung fu master. I don't. If I know kung fu, if I resist, I can explode with power that will surprise even a kung fu master like you," Chang Yaxing said. Soon we talked about the city of Beijing. Lin Feng shared some of his understanding of the city. Chang Yaxing also shared her understanding of the city. There are similarities and contradictions. The biggest the resonance is that they both love the city. Everyone has a place they like to be and live, and they both love it here. In fact, Beauty Bamboo also likes Beijing very much. Otherwise, when she applied for the college entrance examination, she would not have chosen a university in Beijing. There are also several very good universities in Shu. It's just that her heart is still attached to the backing town of Shu province. Her parents have lived there for many years, and her mother has even contributed her life, so once she is needed there, she will give up the superior conditions to go. Choose to go to that tough place. Chang Yaxing said, "You love Green Bamboo very much." "I love her very much. Actually, it didn't take long for you to fall in love with her, because it didn't take long for you to break up with the beautiful teacher Shang Yuna. You probably didn't fall in love with King Zhu when you were friends with teacher Shang, right?" Chang Yaxing said. "That's for sure," Lin Feng said. "I think a man's love for a woman takes time to settle. If the time of falling in love is too short, he will not love deeply." Chang Yaxing's mouth became more and more powerful, especially her mind became more and more sober. As she got to know her better, Lin Feng found that Chang Yaxing, a pure, charming girl, became more and more ghostly. Ling Jing is weird. Maybe she has always had a talent for intelligence, but the previous living environment was too small and closed, so she couldn't show this talent. After arriving in Beijing, the world around her is vast and she has come into contact with many people. Now, this talent is gradually revealed. If you give her a big enough platform, she can become an elite. This is Chang Yaxing. Maybe what you just said makes sense, but how can you explain love at first sight? Lin Feng said. "Lin Feng, in my opinion, your mind turns much faster than mine, because you are my idol, so your brain must be easier to use than mine, but you have hesitated for so long, and this is what you said." "That's it, I really want to hear your answer," Lin Feng said. "I've always felt that love at first sight is superficial, and it's too casual to fall in love at first sight." "Some people who fall in love at first sight can be together forever," Lin Feng said. "You're talking about a special case, but most people who fall in love at first sight don't last long. Except for pretty girls and handsome guys in the entertainment industry, few people in other circles have fallen in love at first sight." "Maybe." Lin Feng didn't expect that he would be so passive when chatting with Chang Yaxing this time, and almost forced Chang Yaxing's sharp words to the corner. If he were to score, then Chang Yaxing would have scored 90 points just now, and his performance just now barely got 60 points. Lin Feng asked Chen Lufei to contact him after 2 o'clock in the afternoon, glanced at the time, it was almost 1:30. Lin Feng said that he was leaving. Chang Yaxing's red lips quickly kissed his face, and smiled, "Contact me when you need me." Very sincere but very provocative, as if reminding Lin Feng, if you are impulsive in the middle of the night, You can also contact me. When Lin Feng got off the bus near the community, there were still a few minutes before 2 o'clock. He had already seen Chen Lufiai's figure. The petite figure with a hot charm was wandering. It was easy for people to step out of this place while waiting for the toilet. It seemed that she couldn't hold back a bit. Seeing Lin Feng, Chen Lufiai smiled slightly, but her face was full of melancholy. She just got the divorce certificate, so depression is normal. Lin Feng walked to Chen Lufiai's side and said angrily, "You are such an interesting woman. Even if you are divorced, you and I have a bird to chat with. If I want to chat about your bird, will you let it? If you want to go to the bar with a fever, there are lonely men who will accompany you, don't look for me," Lin Feng said. "I was just joking, don't scare you, you have seen a few beauties, and I'm not the kind of beauty that shocks the world, and I believe I won't scare you. You don't even count as an entry-level beauty, it's just your face, your chest, and your ass, hurry up and forget it." Sometimes a poisonous tongue can make people very comforted. For example, Lin Feng is very comforted at this time. Lin Feng doesn't often speak bitterly. The reason why he spoke bitterly to Shang Yun a few days ago was because he didn't want to continue entanglement with this woman who had broken up. The reason why he spoke bitterly to Chen Lufiai at this time was because this woman had spoken bitterly to him many times before. Master bedroom. As soon as she walked in, Chen Lufiai smelled the smell of smoke. Since Lin Feng moved from a small partition room to this relatively larger master bedroom, she has paid more attention to the environment in the room than before. The smell of smoke is not as strong as before, but Chen Lufiai still smells it. A bit heavy. "How many cigarettes do you smoke a day? It's none of your business. If you think my room smells of smoke, then go to the street," Lin Feng said. "If I hurt you before, then I'm sorry to you. I'm so miserable now. I'm already a divorced woman. The glory in the past has turned into a tragedy. Don't be so cruel to me. No matter how miserable you are, I don't feel that much, because I have nothing to do with you at all, not a classmate, not a colleague, or a friend. If you have to look for a reason, that is, we are all Chinese," Lin Feng said. "You." Chen Lufiai was about to cry with anger, and she tightened her legs when she sat on the sofa. Although her legs wrapped in light-colored trousers were not long, they were very nice. Lin Feng brought tea over, sat beside Chen Lufiai, and said sullenly, "Actually, I don't like drinking my good tea for a woman like you, but since you are sitting on the sofa in this room, I will treat you as a guest for the time being. If you like this work, you are welcome to come to the starting point, to vote for recommendation and monthly tickets. Your support is my biggest motivation. Mobile users, please go to Red. Peach Youth. Author, Sci-fi. Chapter 359. Chen Lufiai didn't speak, but her legs that were originally tight twisted a few times, and her expression was a little anxious. "If you really want to pee, go to pee quickly. It doesn't matter if you pee your pants. I'm afraid your pee will flow to my floor." Lin Feng continued to be vicious, but Chen Lufiai really wanted to pee. When she was standing outside the community waiting for Lin Feng just now, she couldn't hold it in any longer, and kept complaining that there was no public toilet nearby. There should be a nearby hotel. The toilet, but she was embarrassed to go in and didn't order food and only slammed. Chen Lufiai said, "Wait for me," then took 2 pieces of paper from the satchel, and walked out quickly. When she returned after urinating, Chen Lufiai sat more steadily than before, without the tendency to fall to the ground at any time. "Are you surprised to know that Li He and I are divorced? Oh, I know, Yun Na told you about Li He and I in advance, and he actually cheated on him, and he has no qualifications to cheat, but he split himself in half. Why do you think this is? Because of you." "Yes, it's you. Your so-called happiness in the past was brought about by your means to men, and your current misfortune is also brought about by your means of dealing with men, Lin Feng said. The moment Chen Lufei cried bitterly, she was about to throw herself into Lin Feng's arms. Lin Feng got up to dodge, and Chen Lufei fluttered and fell on the sofa. Don't have a fever, Lin Feng said. It's not a fever, I just want to cry in your arms for a while. Cry your sister, if you want to cry, go back and cry, don't cry with me, Lin Feng said depressedly. Forget it, even if you continue to talk about me and Li He, you won't sympathize with me, and there is absolutely no possibility for me and Li He to remarry. Let's talk about you and Yun Na. In fact, she has always been very I love you, and I still love you after breaking up with you. I used to have a bad impression of you, but now I also think you are a very nice man. Maybe you are more romantic than my ex-husband Li He, but you are not like him, so despicable, hypocritical, and black-hearted. Have you ever thought about reconciling with Yun Na? If you reconcile, maybe you can get the certificate within a month. If you marry Yun Na, I will pay 5,000 yuan as a gift, Chen Lufei wrote. Lin Feng laughed happily. His expression was like listening to Guo Digang's crosstalk. He said, Chen Lufei, you can almost be Guo Digang's master. You are so funny. What you said just now is ridiculous. Your face is ridiculous, your chest is ridiculous, your legs are ridiculous, and your hair is ridiculous, so get out of here, Lin Feng said. Okay. I'll go. Chen Lufei left the room in despair. Lin Feng was very happy just now with his venomous tongue, but now he is feeling lonely. Naturally, he and Shang Yuna are out of the game, but he began to think about how disappointed Chen Lufei, who just got the divorce certificate, was just now. Isn't the woman too cruel? Even if Chen Lufei used to be hateful, she is now a sad person. Never mind. What has to be said has been said. Those who should be despised are despised. Lin Feng lay on the bed and soon fell asleep. He dreamed of things he had never seen before. When I woke up, it was already after 4 o'clock, and I shouted a sin in my heart. After getting out of bed, I sat down at the computer desk, opened the computer and opened the document. I didn't even bother to read the pages of the book, and immediately began to code. Although Chen Lufei and Lin Feng have nothing to do with each other. But Chen Lufei said so much, which affected Lin Feng's mood to a certain extent. It felt okay to type on the keyboard, but his mind was a little messed up. I just typed 3,000 words in an hour. Lin Feng lit a cigarette and sighed lightly. While checking the chapter, he couldn't help but think about what Chen Lufei had said to him. He became puzzled. Was it really Shang Yuna who asked Chen Lufei to come to him, or that Chen Lufei really wanted to do something for the past he made up for his abominable behavior, so he took the initiative to bring it up to Shang Yuna and then Shang Yuna agreed? If this is the case, the situation is a bit more complicated. In the game I sold you to buy, Lin Feng has already humiliated Shang Yuna very much. Could it be that Shang Yuna is still not giving up and wants to reconcile with him? Maybe Chen Lufei came to him just because she wanted to sleep with him, but she saw that he was too sharp, so she didn't dare to take off her pants. No matter what the situation is, Lin Feng has already made up his mind. He wants to move forward, and he will not have any entanglement with Shang Yuna. When Lin Feng tapped the keyboard again, the speed was relatively faster than before. After coding 2 chapters, he posted them together. He plans to update 2 more chapters today, that is, for 3,000 words. Night. Dang Dainan came back from Fengnan fashion store. Lin Feng's for 3,000 words have been updated, and he is watching a movie that has recently had a high-definition version. It is a somewhat funny urban life movie. Standing beside Lin Feng, Dainan was surprised and asked in confusion, a great internet writer, the creator of classic plots, aren't you coding? Lin Feng twisted against Dainan's round buttocks. The softness with elasticity made him quite enjoy. Dainan showed an angry expression, and his slender legs trembled a few times. The act of attacking her buttocks was disgusting. Lin Feng said with a smile, "Why do I have to code all the time? I really want to relax now, so I watch a movie." Dinan said, "Actually, Kingzu wanted to come over this evening, but she was afraid that it would affect your typing, so she went back to the dormitory. If she knew that you were watching the movie, she would definitely be happy to come and watch it with you." Lin Feng said, "Kingzu can't come here every day, otherwise it's easy to spread scandals. Kingzu is the focus of Beijing Normal University, and what she doesn't like the most is gossip." "Right." Dinan sat next to Lin Feng and watched the film with him. Dinan felt that the film was nothing to watch. Although it was funny, she couldn't laugh. Lin Feng said, "I plan to call Chang Yaxing at noon tomorrow, and then you and I have Kingzu, and the four of us have a meal together." Dinan smiled and said, "You are finally going to implement this plan to use Chang Yaxing to influence Tian Kingzu. Not exploiting. I know it's not a use, because doing this has no effect on Chang Yaxing, and it won't bring her any loss, but I also think that in fact, it's useless for you to do this, and Kingzu won't say it because of Chang Yaxing." "Change your inner thoughts," Dinan said. Lin Feng said, "Maybe it's really useless, but I still really want to do it. Then I support you unconditionally." "You are the best for me," Lin Feng said. "That is. But you just don't want to be my wife," Lin Feng said. "That is, who am I? How can I be your wife?" Dinan was quite proud. "Then whose wife do you want to be?" "No one's wife will do it. Oh, I'm going back to rest, you can watch the movie alone." Dinan walked out. If he didn't mention the word wife just now, it is estimated that Dinan would accompany him to watch the film. Unfortunately, when he said that casually, Dinan left the room. Morning. Lin Feng told Tian Qingzu about having dinner together at noon. Although Tian Qingzu had not communicated much with Chang Yaxing, she immediately understood Lin Feng's intention and wanted to tell Lin Feng that it was useless for you to do this, but she did not speaking out. She intends to cooperate, otherwise she will fail Lin Feng's good intentions. Lin Feng called Chang Yaxing and asked him to come over at around 11 o'clock. Chang Yaxing had no objection. 10:30. Lin Feng and Dinan stayed at Fengnan Fashion Store. Business has been good some time ago, but today there are very few customers. Dinan felt a little sad, looked at Lin Feng with resentment, and said aggrieved, "Why are people like this today? Little, it is estimated that it can't even sell for 500 yuan today. Many people are in the exam room. Although it is easy to pass the exam in the university, you must be careful. Otherwise, it will be very troublesome if you fail the exam," Lin Feng said. Dinan has never been to a university. For her, living in a university dormitory is a magical thing, playing with people in the social dormitory is a magical thing, going to the university canteen to eat is a magical thing, and failing a class is even more magical. Magical thing. Dinan said, "Have you ever failed a subject before?" Lin Feng said, "Some people say that if you haven't failed a course, you haven't been to a university, but I really haven't failed a course, and my grades are pretty cool." Dinan said, "Look at how proud you are. I really want to fail the course, but I don't even have the qualifications to fail the course. If there is an afterlife, I must go to university, even a second-class university." Superior. Lin Feng's heart suddenly ached, and he immediately took Dinan into his arms. Before Dinan could remind Lin Feng not to do this, Tian Qingzu walked in wearing the beautiful dress Lin Feng gave her. Seeing Lin Feng hugging Dinan tightly, Tian Qingzu was stunned at first, then quickly stepped back and walked out of the door of the store. Lin Feng was very embarrassed, and Dinan was even more embarrassed. He really wanted to raise his fist to give Lin Feng a meal, but it was important to resolve the embarrassment first. Dinan blushed and ran out, seeing Tian Qingzu standing a few meters away and running to her the side said, "Qingzu, you misunderstood, Lin Feng and I." Sister Nan, you don't need to explain, I didn't misunderstand. I'm not angry either, Tian Qingzu said. Then how did you get out? Today's weather is very good, cloudy, not so hot, I want to come out and stand for a while, Tian Qingzu said. I, I'll, I'll pay attention later, it was my fault just now, I shouldn't get into Lin Feng's arms, Originally, Lin Feng hugged her, but what Dinan said now was that she took the initiative to get into Lin Feng's arms. Sister Nan, I really don't need to explain. Let's go to the store. How's the business today? The business is very ordinary. Up to now, there is no turnover of 100 yuan. I don't know if it will be 500 yuan when it closes, Dinan said. Occasionally a day is nothing, business has been good some time ago, Tian Qingzu said. Yes. To be continued. If you like this work, you are welcome to come to the starting point, to vote for recommendation and monthly tickets. Your support is my biggest motivation. Mobile users, please go to to read. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Peach Youth. Author, Su Kifeng. Chapter 360. Lin Feng had already experienced the transformation of Chang Yasin Shen, so he was not very surprised after hearing what he said just now. But Dinan was very surprised. Chang Yaxing, a very typical village girl, who almost sold her first daughter for the sake of her younger brother's readers, could say such wonderful words. Is it because Lin Feng pointed her, or has she changed so much since she arrived in Beijing? Dinan knew very well what Chang Yaxing's speech was like in the past. At that time, Chang Yaxing was young and had a strong accent, and he could not even express a complete meaning. He couldn't speak without the accent. Kind of. In theory, Chang Yaxing didn't go to Beijing for a long time. Even if she deliberately changed herself and kept accumulating tastes in her life, she shouldn't have such a big change. At this time, she seemed to have experienced a devilish experience. Training. Dinan, close the roller shutter, let's go eat, Lin Feng said. Okay. The business in the morning was very bleak. I might be able to get some people at noon, but I have to close the shutter to go to dinner. As a result, I am afraid that today's turnover will be disastrous, but it is nothing. In order to make Lin Feng's arrangement today a little better, on behalf of when Nan planned to eat, he didn't think about the store's turnover today. Lin Feng chose a high-end restaurant a few kilometers away, and sat in the private room with three beauties. The menu was first pushed in front of Chang Yaxing. She was not polite at all, ordered three more expensive dishes, and said with a smile, Lin Feng, today you are the host, I will not be polite, who made you my brother? Absolutely, you're welcome, Lin Feng said. When the menu arrived in front of Tian Qingzu, the beauty Zhu became embarrassed. The three dishes that Chang Yaxing ordered just now were full of flavors and tastes, and they were quite the level of a gourmet, but she didn't know what to order. After turning a few pages in a row, Miazo finally ordered a very homely dish with a low price, and then pushed the menu to Dinan. Dinan originally wanted to remind Beauty Zhu to order a few more dishes, but after thinking about it, let it go, so she ordered directly. After ordering two special dishes, the menu turned to Lin Feng. Lin Feng asked Beauty Bamboo to help him advise. Beauty Bamboo didn't know anything about vegetables, but she could only look at the menu. Will this work? And this, you see, this should be delicious. Lin Feng kept discussing with Beauty Bamboo, but what Beauty Bamboo said was, oh, it seems to be okay. The heads of Lin Feng and Beauty Bamboo were about to collide. There is a bit of intimacy. During this process, Dinan noticed Chang Yaxing's expression and eyes. She found that Chang Yaxing's expression was very calm, but her eyes were very special, fortunately. Dinan's analysis found that Chang Yaxing's eyes were envious, not jealous. After all, Dinan is a relatively experienced woman. She can already be sure that Chang Yaxing also loves Lin Feng very much, and she is envious of Tian Qingzu, but she has no bad intentions towards Tian Qingzu. The dishes are all ready, and the cold beer is drunk. After clinking glasses, Lin Feng said a few words in a simple way, and then everyone took half a glass of beer. Chang Yaxing took a bite of the dish and started talking. I used to hear people in the village say how big and how good Beijing is. I was very disdainful at that time. I thought that no matter how good Beijing was, it was not as good as my hometown. After I came to Beijing, I gradually fell in love with it. I think it is a beautiful and atmospheric city. It is a city with a heritage that can make people fly their ideals. If a person, especially a woman, lives in such a prosperous city for a lifetime, the city is a life in vain. You only have one life. Since you have the opportunity to pursue prosperity, why not? Dinan, maybe you have a deeper understanding of the city than me. Do you think what I said just now? Exactly. Dinan was so impressed with Chang Yaxing's eloquence and expression just now. Especially that kind of expression, intoxicated, there is a kind of unyielding energy in pursuit of ideals. If someone packs it, maybe Chang Yaxing can be a very good actor. There may be a fire. After clinking the glasses again, Chang Yaxing looked at Tian Qingzu, and what she saw was a beautiful and calm face, as if the words she had just uttered had not caused any ripples in the heart of Beauty Zhu. Chang Yaxing held Tian Qingzu's hand before speaking, which was what Lin Feng and Dinan didn't expect. Chang Yaxing wondered, Qingzu, after this summer vacation, you will be in your senior year. Although I have never studied in college, I also know that many students start looking for jobs in their senior year. What are your plans? Oh, I heard from Lin Feng before that the school leaders and teachers value you very much, and it has been revealed in advance that if you want to, you can stay in school. What a great opportunity, it makes people envious and envious. You must plan to stay in school. Come on. If you stay in school, maybe you will become the business card of Beijing Normal University in the future. When you mention you will think of Beijing Normal University. Before walking into this restaurant, Tian Qingzu was mentally prepared, knowing that Chang Yaxing would ask similar questions, which was also Lin Feng's good intentions. She smiled and said, I haven't thought about it yet, maybe go back, maybe stay. Seriously, I like Beijing as much as you. What I care more about is the cultural heritage here, which can make people feel the breadth and height. Eagles can fly in the city, and white pigeons can also be here. A city is flying, the sky here is vast, the land here is vast, opportunities are everywhere, moving stories can happen everywhere, but there is another belief in my heart, people can't just live for themselves, I too live for the living, I also live for the dead, my life is not my own, I. Tian Qingzu burst into tears, trying to control her emotions, but she cried more and more. Lin Feng froze. Dinan and Chang Yaxing also froze. Chang Yaxing reluctantly spread out her hands and stuck out her tongue again. The meaning is clear, Lin Feng, the dinner you deliberately arranged was terrible. Lin Feng took Tian Qingzu into his arms, Tian Qingzu was choked up, tears poured down like rain. Brother Feng, aren't you, I'm sorry, I really don't know, I don't know what I should do, woo woo. Qingzu, don't cry, whether you stay or go back, I will support you, you stay, you are my girlfriend, you go back, you are my good friend, any choice is for you, it doesn't mean loss, Lin Feng said. Dinan and Chang Yaxing both cried, they both loved Lin Feng, and both of them were blessing Lin Feng and Tian Qingzu. The dishes were plentiful, but the four of them didn't even eat 1/3 of it. Lin Feng couldn't see Tian Qingzu's lovely appearance while eating the dishes happily. What he saw were tears and helplessness. After walking out of the restaurant, Chang Yaxing made a surprising speech again, I want to chat with Qingzu alone, just walk on the nearby street, or you two should go back first. Lin Feng and Dinan looked at each other and at Chang Yaxing at the same time, nodded and walked towards the side road. Tian Qingzu stopped crying, but her eyes were a little red, and she was looking at everything around her with a confused look. Chang Yaxing said, "Qingzu, I see it, in fact, you understand Lin Feng's intentions very well, and frankly, he asked me to come here, just want me to influence you, and want you to treat life like me, but I can also see that you and I are not the same kind of people. You are a swan, and I, no matter how brightly dressed, is just an ugly duckling." What can Tian Qingzu say? She can only say, "You are also beautiful, you are also very temperamental, you are also a swan." Chang Yaxing shook her head helplessly. "You can't be a swan with a beautiful face and a graceful temperament. Some people are poor, but she is also a swan, and some people are very rich, but they can't be a swan. As for me, life it's a big improvement from before, but I'm not a rich man, I'm just a front desk. I have an inferiority complex in my bones. This inferiority complex is almost innate. Maybe I will be rich and live in a luxury car in the future. I still have low self-esteem in my bones because I have suffered in the past. I'm not as good as you said, I understand what's going on with me," Tian Qingzu said. "The people around you rate you higher than yourself. The eyes of the people around you are sharp. You are really superb. If I were a man, I would also be fascinated by you. What do you say?" In fact, he doesn't have a big background, he doesn't have much money, and he's even a little romantic, but he's a very real person. He knows how to treat those who should be worthy of it, and he also knows how to walk the road under his feet. If you marry him, don't be afraid that he will abandon you, he won't, but if you follow someone else, maybe someone else will kneel on the ground and say to you that they will be good to you for the rest of their lives, but it is very likely that they will break up halfway. I know Lin Feng is very good. In fact, I really want to be with him, but in reality, men and women who want to be together can't be together," Tian Qingzu said. "No matter what decision you make, I will support you, but if you really go back to Qiushan town in Shu province and will not come back, then I regret to tell you you lost a man you can rely on for a lifetime." Chang Yaxing hesitated for a moment and said, "I've finished what I have to say. From now on, we are good friends. No matter where you are in the future, we will be good friends." Chang Yaxing went back to the Jinwu Center. Tian Qingzu didn't go to Fengnan fashion store, she went directly back to the dormitory. Dinan called Tian Qingzu in the small shop and knew that she had returned to the dormitory. He sighed softly, "Lin Feng, your arrangement for this dinner was a failure. I didn't expect it to be too successful before, but I really didn't expect it to fail like this. One thing is for sure. I used to care about Qingzu, but now I care about her even more. I want to buy a house." When Lin Feng mentioned buying a house, Dinan slapped his hands and jumped up, shouting, "I support you." After winning another sum of money from Zhu Qinglan, Lin Feng now has more than 2 million yuan. If he buys a house of about 60 square meters in some areas of Beijing, it is enough, but Lin Feng plans to buy a bigger one. It is less than 120 square meters, and he wants to buy it in a relatively prosperous area. He intends to use more than 2 million as a down payment, which is not enough for a loan. To be continued. If you like this work, you are welcome to come to the starting point, to vote for recommendation and monthly tickets. Your support is my biggest motivation. Mobile users, please go to to read. Peach Youth. Author, Su Kifeng. Chapter 361. At this time, Dinan's mind was no longer on the business of the store, but on the matter of Lin Feng buying a house. She said, "Is it easy to get a loan in your industry?" Lin Feng said, "Although our online writers are freelancers, the company we signed with has issued an income certificate. According to my current income situation, the bank is very happy to lend me a loan. Besides, the first payment is required. Now, the bank is not afraid of what I owe, and it's a big deal to take my house. Dainan said, "That's right, then buy it. However, I think you have the ability to pay the full amount. Even if the full amount is more than 5 million yuan, you can find someone to borrow 3 million first." Jinwu Center Li Xiao, oh, and Miss Ye from Hungtu Company, anyone who takes out 3 million is like playing, especially Miss Ye, she may spend more than 3 million for any random shopping. In the past, Ye Zi went to France to play and spent more than 30 million in a week. This is what Lin Feng heard from Hong Ying. At that time, Hong Ying said that Ye Zi was crazy when she wanted to spend money, and she had good taste in choosing things, Hong Ying said. He also said that everything in Hungtu Company is from leaves, so the current worth of leaves is several billions, and it will exceed 10 billions in the near future. Lin Feng naturally didn't want to pay interest to the bank. For a loan of 2 or 3 million, 1 year's interest is not a joke. If it takes several years or even 10 years to pay me back, the extra interest will be painful to calculate. If you can borrow a sum of money to buy a house in full, it will be great. If you open your mouth, should you look for Li Xingguo or Ye Ye? What is certain is that if he really opened his mouth, both of them would lend him money, and he quickly ruled out Li Xingguo, because both Li Yang and Li Xingguo were seriously injured in dealing with Zhu Qinglin and Meng Jiwei. Until now there is no good luck, especially Li Xingguo's arm. I am afraid it will take 2 months, in this case. He really can't open the door to borrow money. As for Ye Zi, although he and Zi are already good friends, he never thought of borrowing money from Zi before. Although Zi is a very rich eldest lady, his relationship with Zi is not in preparation for borrowing money. Even if knowing that he can borrow it if he opens his mouth, it is still difficult for him to open his mouth. Dainan pushed Lin Feng. Angrily said, "Why are you hesitating, kid? Are you thinking about face? What is more important than the future of you and King Zhu?" Although King Zhu is not a materialistic girl, if you buy a house in Beijing for her, she will see when it comes to your huge contribution, the possibility of staying will be even greater. If you and King Zhu really come together, you can just be comfortable. I don't know how many people will envy you. Lin Feng said, "I really want to get together with King Zhu, not to make people envious, but because King Zhu is indeed a good girl who can make me very comfortable and is worth taking care of for a lifetime." Dainan said, "Then you can call Ye Zi quickly. The money issue is determined, and you can look for a house." Lin Feng said, "Don't worry, I will seriously consider it tonight. After all, borrowing millions at a time is not a trivial matter. I have never done such a crazy thing before." Dainan thought that it was crazy for Lin Feng to fight with people for whatever reason, but Lin Feng said that finding someone to borrow so much money and punching were two completely different things, and punching depended on his own ability. And borrowing money depends on the ability of others. Lin Feng returned to the master bedroom, full of thinking about looking for Ye Zi to borrow money. He didn't know whether to open it or not. At the same time, he was also considering whether to take a mortgage to buy a suite. If he decided to take a mortgage, he wouldn't have to ask anyone to borrow money. The big deal is to pay interest to the bank. More than half an hour passed, and I didn't think about it. If I continued to focus on this matter, I would not be able to code words. Lin Feng opened the document, and started typing on the keyboard after a while, but the things he just thought about sometimes rushed into his mind, which made him a little distracted, and the coding speed was naturally affected. When Dainan came back from the shop today, Lin Feng only wrote 9,000 words. He was really in no mood to code, so he closed the document within 10 minutes. Dainan stood beside Lin Feng, surrounded Lin Feng with her scent, and said with a smile, "That's right, did you finish the task ahead of schedule again today?" Lin Feng said, "Actually, I wanted to code more, but I'm not in the mood to code. I've been thinking about whether to ask Ye Ye to borrow money." Dainan said, "Have you considered it clearly?" Lin Feng said, "No." Dainan said, if you really don't want to speak, then give the bank interest. Lin Feng said, it's better to pay for the mortgage, and the interest will be paid. Oh. Dinan didn't expect that Lin Feng finally made this decision. If she also had a friend as rich as Ye, she would not be polite when she needed help. Unfortunately, she did not have such a powerful friend. When Lin Feng was detained in Yezi's private villa before, Dinan went to Yezi once. At that time, Ye said that contemporary Nan was a friend, but Dinan didn't think she could become such a good friend with Ye, because Ye was of a higher level than her. Too high. Up to you. Dinan went out. Lin Feng lay on the bed, tossed and turned and couldn't fall asleep, but he had decided to buy a house with a mortgage, and he was not thinking about borrowing money from Ye. What he considered was that if the conflict between him and Zhao Heidao was resolved, he would, but I don't want to carry such a black pot all the time. He had to go to Taiyuan in Jin province, but he planned to go home first, spend some time with his parents, and then set off for Taiyuan in Jin province. Morning. When Lin Feng got up and finished washing, Dinan just got up. Lin Feng was about to knock on Dinan's room. Dinan walked out with the toiletries, and Lin Feng was about to walk over at a glance, obviously playing a temper. Lin Feng smiled lightly and walked into Dinan's partition room, sitting on the bed and waiting for her. Dang Dinan returned to the partition room after washing up and saw Lin Feng sitting on her bed, and said angrily, "You bastard, why did you sit on my bed?" Lin Feng smiled and said, "What's wrong with sitting on your bed? I used to lie on your bed before. Not only did I lie down, but I also hugged and kissed you. Before was before, now is now." Dinan was so angry that she raised her slender legs and kicked Lin Feng. Lin Feng didn't dodge, so she succeeded, but her buttocks were quickly pinched by Lin Feng. "Oh. It hurts. You screwed me to death. I don't even care about you. Even if I don't want to borrow money from Ye, you don't need to be so angry. I have my own ideas," Lin Feng said. "Up to you. Have breakfast together," Lin Feng said. "You got up very early today. It's probably because you didn't fall asleep last night, but I don't want to have breakfast with you." Dinan picked up his bag and walked out quickly. Lin Feng also went out. Dinan locked the door and walked out, and Lin Feng followed. "I really don't want to have breakfast with you." "But I really want to have breakfast with you," Lin Feng said. The moment Dinan pursed his lips and smiled, his anger quickly appeared. "You are a big nasty bastard." After having breakfast together, Dinan went to the store, and Lin Feng returned to the master bedroom. "I felt a little sleepy when I was sitting on the sofa smoking a cigarette. I had to rest well, otherwise it would affect the code," and he quickly went to bed. I don't know how long it took. Lin Feng's cell phone rang. He opened his sleepy eyes and saw that it was Ye who was calling. A little puzzled, I don't know what Ye did to call him at this time. Lin Feng picked it up and said with a smile, "Ye, are you looking for me? I'm already outside the community." "Oh." Lin Feng walked out quickly. He saw the leaves and the red shadow, and also saw 5 strong men in casual clothes. 2 of them had tattoos on their arms. Lin Feng wondered, "Ye, what are you doing? After leaving your private villa, I don't seem to have offended you. You brought these people here to beat me? If you really want to beat me, bring these people here. Not a little less." Both Ye and Hongying laughed. Ever since she became a lover with Lin Feng, and after that kind of thing, Hongying loved Lin Feng even more. When she saw Lin Feng hurried over just now, she was a little impulsive. "I really want to hug and kiss Lin Feng and then do something else, but now is not the time." Hongying said, "None of us have any ill will towards you, just to be a guest here. You actually said that we are going to beat you. It's really chilling. Yezi, why don't we go? Anyway, this kid doesn't welcome us." Ye's slender legs trembled, and looked at Lin Feng's face arrogantly. "Is it really unwelcome?" "Nothing, you and Hongying are my good friends, can you not welcome me? Then go to my small room and take a seat, Lin Feng said. Yeah, said leisurely, it's almost the same. What surprised Lin Feng quickly happened. He finally understood what these 5 sturdy men were here for, and they were here to move money. A total of 10 black suitcases were taken out of the off-road vehicle, each of whom carried 2 in their hands, and stood beside Ye and Hong Ying. Lin Fengzin said, Ye, I didn't ask you to borrow money, what do you mean? But standing at the gate of the community, Lin Feng didn't ask any questions. He sighed in his heart and walked in. Ye and Hong Ying walked beside Lin Feng, and 5 strong men with money boxes walked behind. Lin Feng's master bedroom was originally not large, so it seemed a little crowded with so many people coming in at once, but when the 5 strong men put down the money box, they were quickly sent away by Ye. Ye and Hong Ying sat on the sofa. They were both beauties, with faces that turned all living beings upside down and graceful postures. Ye was more noble and elegant, while Hong Ying was more passionate and unrestrained. While Lin Feng was making tea, all that echoed in his mind were the scenes of Hong Ying giving him a massage and the scenes of him and Hong Ying turning the clouds over the rain. Hong Ying's lover made him so comfortable. Lin Feng came over with tea, smiled and said, have some tea. Ye took a sip of tea, looked at Lin Feng's face, and said angrily, do you really consider me a friend? Why don't you tell me you are short of money? Is it shameful to borrow money from me? No. What is that? Ye said. Me too, I don't know what it is, after all, it's not a small amount to be borrowed, 3 million, so try not to cause trouble to your friends. Is 3 million a big number for me? You don't think I'm a friend? You still despise my strength. You really need repairs, Ye said angrily. I treat you as a friend. I also regard you as a friend, so this time I brought not 3 million, but 10 million, Ye said. To be continued. If you like this work, you are welcome to come to the starting point, to vote for recommendation and monthly tickets. Your support is my biggest motivation. Mobile users, please go to to read.